It was a cold, foggy evening in early November 1957. The small town of Crestwood was settling down when a blood-curdling scream pierced the silence. People rushed out of their homes, hearts pounding, trying to locate the source of the horror. Mrs. Thompson, an elderly widow, was the first to spot it. Her frail hand pointed towards the park at the edge of town. There, under the ancient oak tree, lay a lifeless body. The air grew thick with fear and uncertainty. The victim was a young woman, no older than 25. She was dressed in a simple blue dress, now stained with blood. The eerie stillness was broken only by the distant wail of a police siren. As the townsfolk gathered, whispers of dread filled the air. The mystery had begun, and it would haunt Crestwood for decades to come. The victim's identity was soon revealed. Her name was Emily Dawson, a local schoolteacher beloved by many. She had a gentle smile and a kind heart, always willing to help others. The news of her death sent shockwaves through the community. Emily was last seen leaving the school late in the afternoon. She had stayed behind to grade papers and prepare for the next day's lessons. Her colleagues described her as dedicated and passionate. The police quickly cordoned off the area, searching for clues. They found a torn piece of fabric near the body, possibly from the killer's clothing. There were no signs of a struggle, suggesting that Emily might have known her attacker. The mystery deepened as the investigation unfolded. The community mourned together, united in their grief and their quest for justice. Officer Jack Reynolds was the first on the scene that fateful night. A veteran of the Crestwood Police Department, he had seen his fair share of crime, but nothing like this. The sight of Emily's lifeless body sent a chill down his spine. Reynolds called for backup, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside. Soon the area was swarming with police, their flashlights cutting through the fog. Detective Sarah Mitchell, a seasoned investigator, arrived shortly after. She took charge, her presence commanding respect. The first responders worked tirelessly, documenting every piece of evidence. They combed the park for hours, searching for anything that could lead them to the killer. The torn fabric and a few strands of hair were all they found. The investigation had officially begun. The town had always been peaceful, but now a dark shadow loomed over it. Detective Mitchell wasted no time in assembling a team. She handpicked the best officers, each known for their dedication and expertise. The pressure was immense, but Mitchell was determined to solve the case. The team began by interviewing Emily's friends and colleagues. They searched for anyone who might have had a motive. Emily was well liked, but they discovered that she had recently ended a relationship with a man named Robert Hayes. He became their first person of interest. Hayes was brought in for questioning. He claimed to have loved Emily and was devastated by her death. However, his alibi was shaky. He couldn't account for his whereabouts on the night of the murder. As they delved deeper, they uncovered more about Emily's life. Her dedication made her vulnerable, often walking home alone in the dark. Robert Hayes remained a prime suspect. His relationship with Emily had ended on a bitter note. Friends described him as possessive and sometimes aggressive. His inability to provide a solid alibi made him suspicious, but there was no concrete evidence to link him to the crime. Another suspect was Mark Wilson, a drifter who had been seen around town. He had a criminal record and was known for his violent tendencies. Wilson had no personal connection to Emily, but his presence in Crestwood around the time of the murder raised eyebrows. He was questioned but denied any involvement. The third suspect was surprisingly close to home. Emily's colleague, Laura Benson, had a strained relationship with her. They had clashed over school policies and teaching methods. Each suspect had a motive and a story, but none of them fit perfectly. The town buzzed with theories. Everyone had an opinion on who the killer might be. Some believed it was Robert Hayes, driven by jealousy and rage. Others thought Mark Wilson was the culprit, a drifter with nothing to lose. One popular theory was that Emily had stumbled upon something she shouldn't have. Perhaps she had uncovered a secret and someone wanted to keep her silent. This idea captured the imagination of many. People speculated about hidden affairs, corrupt dealings, and long-buried secrets. Another theory suggested a connection to a series of unsolved murders in nearby towns. The similarities were striking. Young women, all alone, all found in public places. Despite the theories, there was no solid evidence. The detectives followed every lead, but each one led to a dead end. The case was marked by eerie elements that defied explanation. One such element was the recurring presence of an old, tattered doll found near the crime scene. No one knew where it came from or how it got there. It became a symbol of the town's growing unease. Another unsettling detail was the strange messages left at the scene. Cryptic notes, written in red ink, were found scattered around the park. They contained phrases like, "She knew too much," and "The shadows will consume." The handwriting was analyzed, but no matches were found. The park itself took on a sinister atmosphere. Once a place of joy, it became a hub of fear and superstition. People started avoiding it, especially at night. The line between reality and fear blurred, adding to the town's collective anxiety. The community of Crestwood was shaken to its core. Emily's murder shattered the illusion of safety. Parents became overprotective, children were kept indoors, and the once vibrant town became cloaked in fear. Vigilante groups formed, patrolling the streets at night. They were determined to catch the killer, but their efforts often led to false accusations and heightened tensions. Innocent people were harassed, and the fabric of the community started to fray. Trust was eroded, and divisions grew deeper. Local businesses suffered as people stayed home, avoiding public places. The park, once a bustling center of activity, became deserted. Events and festivals were canceled, and the town's economy took a hit. The vibrant life of Crestwood dimmed, replaced by a somber, anxious atmosphere. Emily's murder had left an indelible mark on Crestwood, one that would take years to heal, if ever. The Crestwood Police Department faced immense pressure. The community demanded answers, but the investigation was fraught with challenges. The lack of concrete evidence and conflicting theories made it difficult to make progress. The case became a quagmire, bogging down the entire department. Detective Mitchell and her team worked around the clock. They re-examined evidence, re-interviewed suspects, and followed every lead, no matter how small. The stress took its toll. Sleep-deprived and frustrated, they struggled to maintain their focus. The weight of the unsolved case hung heavily on their shoulders. External agencies were brought in to assist. Despite the increased resources, the case remained stagnant. Public trust in law enforcement waned. The police were caught in a vicious cycle, their efforts undermined by the very community they were trying to protect. As the years passed, the case of Emily Dawson remained unresolved. The shadows that enveloped Crestwood grew darker, the unanswered questions more haunting. The torn fabric, the cryptic notes, the mysterious doll. Each clue seemed to lead nowhere, deepening the enigma. New leads occasionally surfaced, rekindling hope. A retired detective claimed to have uncovered fresh evidence, but it proved inconclusive. A supposed witness came forward, but their account was unreliable. Each potential breakthrough ended in disappointment, adding to the town's sense of helplessness. Some believed the killer had left town, while others thought they were still lurking in the shadows. The possibility of a conspiracy was also floated, with whispers of powerful individuals protecting the murderer. The lack of closure fueled endless speculation and fear. The unresolved mysteries were a testament to the complexity of human nature and the sometimes insurmountable challenge of seeking justice. Emily Dawson's murder left an indelible mark on Crestwood. The town, once a haven of peace, became synonymous with fear and suspicion. The impact was felt in every corner, from the school where Emily had taught to the parks and streets now shrouded in unease. The community's spirit was irrevocably altered. Trust was eroded, and the bonds that held neighbors together were strained. The sense of safety that had defined Crestwood was shattered, replaced by a lingering sense of dread. The shadow of the unsolved crime loomed over every aspect of life. Law enforcement's reputation took a hit. The failure to solve the case undermined confidence in their ability to protect and serve. The police were viewed with skepticism, their efforts questioned at every turn. Yet amidst the darkness, there was also resilience. The shadow of Emily's murder would always remain, but so too would the strength and unity of Crestwood's people.